Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Casual Antics. This is episode 2. I'm Gabe.
I'm Kyle.
And today we just kind of wanted to have a more chill, laid-back discussion about, the cool weekend we had, and also all the stuff just kind of going on in the world right now. It's a lot of very intriguing stuff, and we felt the need to. I'm not going to call this an emergency episode, but we felt the need to just kind of reconvene and talk about some of the stuff that's happening in the world. So. One thing that happened this weekend for us was we had the senior party, and I know I had a lot of fun, just kind of hanging out and celebrating the end of a long journey here at school, doing a lot of...
Yeah, the senior party was big on the news. It's Ukraine and senior party NCHS.
Yeah, no, those are the two big international issues currently are how much did we spend on NCHS senior party and what is happening in Ukraine.
Putin is threatened to invade NCHS if we don't invite him next time.
If we don't up our budget from $35,000 to $40,000. Someone told me at work that $35,000, and it checks out because there was laser tag, there was Chick-fil-A, there was White Castle burgers.
Most of it was like donated though, isn't it?
I mean, it was a lot of money though to go. It was like $60. It was pretty expensive. I don't know, but anyways, I just wanted to ask, how did you enjoy senior party?
Enjoyed it a lot. Very nice. Unlike other things like dances, I feel like instead of meeting new people, I instead got closer to the people that I already know.
Right. Yeah, no, it was fun because it was like all the parts of the dance that I enjoy, like meeting up with friends and eating, the food you want to eat and just kind of letting loose, school sponsored, obviously, without all the annoying parts like dressing up or talking to women.
I know listeners can't see it, but Gabe and me got our fingernails done.
We're freshly manicured.
Yeah, unfortunately, the second I got home, my dad threw at me a bottle of nail cleaner and told me to take that off. He wasn't like upset with me wearing it, but he was like, "Guy shouldn't wear that."
Yeah, my parents were just surprised that I didn't come home with a mullet because I'd been talking that up, but I walked into the salon because there's this whole room dedicated to, just
nails,
hair.
I got my hair done too.
It smelled like aerosol in there, but I walked in there and I took one look at the fades and I was like, I can't do this. Like there were some really janky haircuts happening in there. It was like a Great Clips. So no offense to Great Clips. I go to Sport Clips, but if I wanted to get a Sport Clips mullet, I would just go to Sport Clips. So, anyways, I
went to Sport Clips for years too. I stopped going because one time they gave me a fade when I asked them specifically not to give me a fade.
You got a fade?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It was terrible.
Go white boy, go.
I'll show you a picture of it.
Oh my God! Yeah, no, we'll have to link it.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So that's when I actually went over to do a thing of One Stop Central when I was still doing that.
Right. Yeah. The other podcast for those who don't know.
I was wearing my signature red Cardinals hat, and when I walked in, everyone that was invited there said, "Are you bald?" Because the fade was so far up, you couldn't see anything.
That's awful.
It was not fun.
That's fantastic. Yeah, no, I had a good time. I'm glad we went.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice to escape from the realities of like everything that's going on, and it was interesting because most people weren't wearing masks. Like, when we first came in, everybody was like all idealistic, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wear my mask. I'm gonna be not everybody. Let's say like maybe 20% of people.
Yeah.
But by the 30-minute mark, maskless. Everybody was maskless, and it was nice to see everyone's face again, I guess, and it was nice, just to walk around without foggy glasses, no running into things. That was helpful.
I think I actually walked up to you, you didn't have a mask on. I had mine on. I was still at that idealistic charm, 5 minutes in.
I'm gonna protect my grandma.
Yeah, I gotta make sure my grandma ain't gonna die.
Yeah.
And I walk up to you and you're like, nah, screw that.
Yeah. No, I'm an anti-masker now.
Yeah, unmuzzle us.
I watched one episode of Joe Rogan.
Alex Jones making some real good points there.
Yeah.
No, but I walked up to Gabe and he just said I would wear it if more than 4 people were wearing their masks.
0% chance of COVID mitigation at senior party, but I'd like to think that we're getting there's a light at the end of the tunnel, maybe, possibly. You know, it seems like maybe there are bigger fish to fry right now.
Especially with the threat of nuclear war.
Yeah, nuclear war is not the greatest thing for us right now.
I keep like saying to myself like, oh man, you know, I really shouldn't like go out and buy this. Like I'm like coming back from the gym and like, oh, I should just eat at home. I shouldn't be spending money on Chick-fil-A or whatever. I'm just like, I might die in the next 10 days.
Yeah, dude.
I should probably just do whatever I can.
If I only have 6 more days to live, then I'm going to get a Chick-fil-A 30-piece, and I'm going to eat all 30 nuggets.
How long would it take for a nuclear missile to reach the U.S.? I'm interested. I'm just looking this up straight up because I want to ask a question.
From Russia?
Yeah, like how long would that take for a missile to get to us?
You ever use the Nuke map? I don't know if that's what it's called, but it shows the different warheads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
30 minutes. So let's say we got news. Nuke was heading straight for Halo. Let's say it wasn't like Chicago either.
So the nearest Chipotle to me is about 7 minutes, but I don't like that one because I think they have a vendetta against me. One time I ordered a burrito there, and it was actually like a 4-ounce burrito.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was actually the smallest. It was like I don't know. It was like the size of a human thumb. It felt like I had been targeted because I spent Chipotle burritos are like $10.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, but so I'll drive past that one to the other one. I get my burrito, and I just sit in the parking lot. Maybe I'll go up on the parking garage and I'll watch the world burn with a mouthful of steak and cheese.
Well, you and me have like opposite things.
Yeah.
What I would do is that I would go straight to City Hall. And what I would want to do there is just walk in and then, assuming I could get in, of course. Like
you could get in.
I would probably just like walk in and just like look around and just see if I can just like, because what is America gonna do with that?
How much chaos can Kyle Schaefer cause in 30 minutes?
Yeah,
the king of trolls.
I might just walk up to the secretary and be like, hey secretary, could you do a favor? Look something up for me. Could you look up Big Yoshi?
Oh man.
Fun story about that. My first job ever, I was gonna work at that burger joint.
Right. Is that actually what that's called?
That burger joint.
That they named it that?
Yeah.
They were like, man, that would be awesome. Name it that burger joint. People will think it's so quirky.
So I was getting my call back, but I didn't know it. At the time I was with some friends. And my friend, Patrick, I was like, oh, it's a scam caller. Patrick, you're funny. Answer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so this guy goes on there and says, all right, buddy, here's what I want you to do. And my boss was like, yeah, what do you need, sir? What do you need? And I'm like, yeah, I want you to go onto the computer. Look up Big Yoshi.
Oh, no.
And I want you to scroll down. Tell me what you find. And it's nothing bad. It's just like pictures of like a fat Yoshi.
Just a really large, obese Yoshi.
Yeah, and then my boss is like, is this Kyle Schaefer?
And they still hired you.
I literally grabbed the phone. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. What can I do for you?
Your friend made your boss look up fat Yoshi, and they still hired you.
Yeah.
It's based. They must have really needed employees.
They really did. I was surprised when I applied for Overweiss, but
Right.
They put me on that burger joint. The reason is because they put all the high school girls who argue all the time at Overweiss and all the real.
I have noticed that. There's like an archetype to be an Overweiss worker. You got to be built like.
It was insane. They literally, I would walk over there because you could get free food there. So
Right.
I'd walk over to get free chocolate milk. And I'd be like, hey, what's going on, guys? And they'd just like stare at me and like, oh, what's going on? And this like one person there I know, one of my friend's exes, she'd be like, yeah, we're not really talking too much today. Why? Well, because we got into another fight. Another one? And she's like, yeah, it's like constant.
Anyways, can I get my chocolate milk?
Yeah, it's like a constant.
I actually don't really care about this. I just need the chocolate milk.
Well, I didn't care about the drama. I just wanted to know like why they were constantly fighting. And apparently, like, it went down to like, oh yeah, she said something like, she looked at me and I asked her to do something for me and she just turned away and walked away. Or I said like, oh, I can't come in today. Could you cover my shift? And they said no. So I hate them now.
Nice.
And it was such like a high school thing it was the most high school thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Not gonna lie.
If this wasn't an audio podcast, you guys would get to see me apply this chapstick, but Maybe you could give him a play-by-play.
Yeah, so he's doing he goes one side of his mouth just back and forth like 12 times.
I'm pretty thorough.
Mm-hmm. The man doesn't do the all the way around.
It's really
and, like
cold.
rubbing it.
Are you supposed to do it like that?
That's what I do.
Here, I'll do it like that.
That's what I did this morning, but clearly it didn't work out.
Is that better?
Yeah, I'm liking this a lot more. Try to get the inside of your mouth too.
It's tasty too. It's vanilla.
Yeah, rub it a bit on your tongue.
Yuck. That's probably not as tasty. Burt's Bees goes hard, but somebody was like, one of my friends was like, did you know that Burt's Bees actually has alcohol in it and it makes your lips drier? I was like, you should not have told me that. You should not have told me that. Ignorance is bliss, because now I don't know whether to use chapstick or to just like grin and bear it. But like, I don't know, I hate chapped lips. They make like this noise when you talk, like it like grinds. I don't like it.
I feel like I'm like a big talking guy, and it feels like whenever I speak.
You don't say.
After this podcast, I'm ringing your throat. Just for that.
We'll take it out back.
Yeah, speaking of things being bad and crazy and stupid.
Insane.
Yeah, Ukraine. What's the deal with that?
I mean, I feel like we all saw it coming, because it seems like a conflict that's been kind of brewing for a while, but I do find it interesting the way Vladimir Putin just kind of jumped off, and like without any support of his own advisors or any conversation with members of foreign powers, he got right into it. He got busy.
He tried real hard to get that, though. Have you heard about that video that they were having? They made a fake video that we found out about that shows, quote unquote, you can't see that, but I'm doing air quotes.
He's doing air quotes.
Yeah, Ukrainians killing Russian citizens, because first of all,
propaganda.
Yeah, first they wanted to push that Ukraine, they're the same people as they're just Russians.
Right.
And then the next week they said
they're actually that's offensive. They're Ukrainian.
They're genociding Russians. The people that are apparently the same race as the Russians are genociding Russians, apparently.
That's wild.
And then when they couldn't get that support, he just jumped ahead and did it. And according to some news sources, again, this is all fairly new, so you never really know what's true or not. But this comes from someone within the State Department, I believe, stating about how his generals and his military men didn't want it. Over the years, he's kind of changed his advisors, so now he's getting people that don't really know what they're talking about.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I've seen just a lot of I've seen a lot of information that doesn't always line up with each other. Like, I was reading about the Ukrainian soldiers on Snake Island. We were talking about this. Kyle and I share a first period German class.
Why don't you talk about Snake Island for those that don't know?
Right. Well, on Snake Island there were I think it was 13 Ukrainian guards
14, yeah.
who the Russians, superior firepower, they threatened to basically light them up if they don't come out and surrender. And according to the news of the past couple days, the Snake Island guys basically, gave them 2 middle fingers and said,
screw off.
We'll die.
Yeah. I think obviously we can't say the word, but they just said F you.
Yeah, no, they cussed out the Russians.
Only response.
And according to the news sources the last couple of days, the Russians just lit them up and they died. But new reports coming out saying that the soldiers of Snake Island are now alive. And that just was interesting for me, because now I'm not really sure what to believe. Like, it seems...
If I had to guess, if I could just cut in, if I had to guess, I would say it's
actually can't cut in.
Sorry. I would say it's Russian propaganda. Because Snake Island became super popular everywhere. Everyone knows about it.
Right.
And then it sounds bad that they just lit up these guys that really couldn't do anything against them.
So in other words, your bet is that they are dead.
Yeah, they're just saying they're in Russian custody. Because how else would anyone know?
Right. Yeah. No one really is sure of the validity, and that's such an interesting wrinkle of this whole conflict is the misinformation surrounding it. Because I think just in general misinformation has been a big deal, especially in American media. With the fake news craze and starting to really investigate and understand the algorithm of Facebook and Twitter and echo chambers, which is where people just kind of all get together and say the same thing but with different words to solidify each other's arguments. But I think the Russia conflict gives us an interesting perspective on misinformation on maybe an international scale, and even how governments use information to control people. Yeah, which is something we don't always think about as Americans, because our government, I mean, especially as members of student press, Kyle and I both write for the newspaper here at Central. You know, we know that for the most part, your freedom of speech is relatively unlimited. There are a lot of things I can say and have said on behalf of myself and the paper that I couldn't say in, let's say, Russia. Like just a couple weeks ago, I wrote a piece talking about like College Board, and I was like, College Board sucks and I hate it. You know, I couldn't go on a Russian podcast and be like, Vladimir Putin is my least favorite person. I do not like him.
I mean, you could say that, but then you would be beheaded by the next day.
I'd be done.
But I want to play a little devil's advocate. While there's definitely misinformation, there's people throwing it in there. I want to say too that war is a very messy business, and it's hard to tell what is or isn't. Because that's why I've been looking. I've always wanted to see like a map of where the Russians have taken or haven't taken. We just don't really know.
There is a map on I think it was Washington Post, and I think New York Times developed one as well.
They said, but I've heard from like different people that those are very inaccurate, because by the time that came out, several of those regions were either taken over by Russians or taken back by Ukrainian freedom fighters.
Yeah.
I think what's more interesting to focus on, because we can't really tell right now, we can only see bits and pieces coming through the smoke.
It's moving too fast.
Is the little like people stories. That's why I love seeing like I saw a post today of this couple that was married a few hours after Russia started invading.
Right, yeah.
And then there's pictures like a few hours later of them holding AK-47s ready to go fight for their country.
That's awesome.
Or the Japanese.
I saw the guy. You got to tell that story.
Yes, the Japanese ambassador apparently sent for his ancestral armor and katana,
so cool.
And he posted on social media of him holding his katana and holding it, saying like, "We have to fight for freedom. All samurais, please come to Ukraine. We gotta
samurais unite."
Yeah, and for a while there, I was just saying like he just did that for publicity to get people to understand whatever. But apparently, I have heard, though it hasn't been confirmed, but I have heard that he's talked with other people wearing the armor. Like he's talked to high officials.
He's got like a club. Very cool. I saw this video earlier today where a mom and her daughter were standing in front of their house that had been shelled by Russians, and they were thanking Vladimir Putin because now they have the opportunity to like go and find a new house. And I was like, how are you maintaining like sarcasm and like humor while literally standing in front of your own burning house?
So Ukrainians, they're used to that.
They're built different. Like if somebody like burned down my house, I'd be like, what the heck, man? Like, that's not cool of you. Don't burn down my house. But I don't know.
Screwing along with that, I saw this guy just smoking a cigarette, just walked out of his house with his bare hands, picked up a landmine,
I've seen that one,
and thrown it in the woods and walked away.
You would think that people handling like intense explosives would move away from smoking right next to them, but I don't know. That's awesome. He was holding it like a pancake.
Mm-hmm.
He was holding it like a stack of like McDonald's flapjacks. Like, I don't know. Mad respect for these Ukrainians. I saw this video of like Ukrainian civilians just straight up capturing like a Russian operative in the middle of the street, like with their cars.
I saw them like doing that with a tank, like several of them just like going on there.
Well, and Ukrainians have been preparing for this conflict by training civilians to fight with like wooden models of guns, which is, I mean, like thinking about the prospect of that happening in America is insane to me.
I gotta mention too, just going how well they've done. Everyone thought that they would be taken over relatively quickly.
Right.
But they have held their capital, the second biggest city. They still have held it back, and the president, who, according to Vladimir Putin, is a Nazi and a drug addict,
even though he's Jewish,
has taken over. Has not only gone on the internet and has made sure to keep everyone, not only in Ukraine but the world, informed of what's happening, but has publicly stated that he will stand up to Vladimir Putin. Even I think they're having like a conference today, like where he's like saying, "I'm not backing down."
Yeah, no, it is interesting. I don't know if you've heard of the Ghost of Kiev.
That
guy is so cool, man. I think yesterday we were talking, or I think it was Friday. It was 11 confirmed kills. I mean, I'm sure it's a lot more than that now. We'll make sure to link some articles down below about some of the stuff we're talking about. Anyways, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. You can always check out the descriptions of the podcast to find links about things happening in the episode. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.